What's up, guys? My name is Ryan, and this is my stock market update for 6/9 going into 6/10, 2020. Got a chart of the NASDAQ up. Big news today: NASDAQ tagged 10,000 intraday. First time in history. It's pretty cool. It's eventful. Big round number. Um, Market remains in an uptrend. There's nothing wrong with this market. We've only got one distribution day on the NASDAQ right now. Um, Gosh, look at the volume today. There's good volume on up days at all-time highs. I mean, there's nothing to be concerned other than the fact that just in the short term on these moving averages, we're a little extended. Like a pullback to the 10-day, which would be perfectly normal, is 3% right now on the Nasdaq. So in the short term, we do have a risk for a quick snap back, and that's always there. So if I were cash, I would cautiously be buying A plus setups and growth names right now. However, I'm not cash. I'm heavily vested in the market. I'm on margin, and I've got a little bit of buying power left over. So I'm in a spot where I mostly held today. I did make some moves. I'll show you the moves I made. Going forward, the outlook's the same. We're in an uptrend until we're not, and I really can't say anything bad about this market until we get a decisive close below the 10-day or the 8-day moving average. But even then, the character of this market so far has been pullbacks to the 21. So, if the market were to do a pullback to the 21, which would be about a 5% correction, that would still be perfectly normal and bullish in the longer than 2 to 3 day time frame. So I typically trade on a week by week basis. That's the time frame I like. My average hold time of my winners is a little over 30 days, and my average hold time of my losers is like 5 days. So that's the kind of trader I am. And so whenever I talk from that perspective. So going into that, I'll show you the trades I'm in, and I'll show you what I did today. So I'm still in Apple. My buy is at like 320. I'm not touching Apple unless it undercuts probably the 10-day moving average, and that's that. Good up day on Apple. And I had a good day today in the market. Pretty much everything I was in was mostly up except for one trade that I had to cut out at break even, and I'll show you that. Adobe, nothing happened today, but it's got earnings coming up, and I'm going to hold this into earnings so I've got some cushion. AMD, I took this at the close, so my buy is right around the closing price. AMD is a stock I've been in and out of since early April, and I think I've managed to not really make any money right in here because I made money on this first play of it, and I lost money on it right in here. And I think I tried it again right in here and lost money. I think I bought it here, sold it there. So I went ahead and rebought it today because it's big volume. You can see I made this downtrend line. It closed above it. I see this as a big cup with handle or a cup with a square box, as O'Neill would say. And AMD is a monster growth company. I see a lot of upside here. I didn't buy very big because I sized it to where I could play 3/4 of this candle. Because I think to give this play its respect, you really got to let it come back down to the 50. I could see this having 2 or 3 down days and then popping again, which is why I didn't buy big. And I could also see this just gapping and going tomorrow. And so that's why I bought like a 40% position in here. And I would probably add on a little bit tomorrow if it just opens and has no tail and goes higher. I'd buy it early in the day and see what happens. With the intent of, like, let's say it opens at 57 and goes higher, I might buy some shares at 57.25 and then like set my stop for yesterday's open. That way, those shares I let go of real quick if the candle falls apart. But if it's like a gap up and just explode to a new high, then I ended up buying it and got it right at the pivot. So that's my plan with AMD. Amazon powered higher. This is I think my biggest dollar size position, and I've been in Amazon since like I think March. Really, I started buying Amazon when it was making the bottom of this base, and it's a big winner. I wouldn't sell Amazon unless it got below the 21. BioMarin, I'm still in this. I think I'm going to go ahead and hold it into the 21 because I had a good day today, so I've got the cushion to kind of let this thing go back. My buy is at 95, which is damn near on the 50-day moving average. So if I hold it to the 21, I'll make money on the trade, and it's a solid trade. Domino's Pizza got a bounce. My plan is to hold this thing for the 21 plus a day because that's the character of this stock. DaVita had another down day, so I'm a little bit up on this position, not much. I think my whole position's at about 83. I'm willing to give DaVita the whole day tomorrow unless it's below, say, 82 and not looking good and it's a bad day in the market. Then I'd probably sell it for a small loss. But it's perfectly normal so far to have a powerful breakout, 2 to 3 days down, and then it catch and continue the trend. So, and volume is tapering off on the pullback, which is what you'd want to see. If volume was increasing, I probably would have already reduced the position size, but since volume is decreasing, I've chosen not to touch the position. And in fact, if we were to have an up day, I might even buy a few shares and make the position slightly bigger. Dexcom had an up day. I haven't touched this thing since I bought in here and there. I would reduce this position around 360. I'd start reducing it, but I wouldn't sell the whole thing until it decisively breaks the 50. But I'm unwilling to hold what I have right now all the way to the 50 because I would turn into like a 7% loss for me. Facebook, I just held. I've got a nice position on this. My buy point is like at 210, so I'm going to try to play Facebook for the big move, and I might even, we'll see. I would sell some of it at the 21, but I might be willing to hold a chunk of this position into the 50 at this point because that 50 is going to come up to price over the next few weeks. Still in Melly. I'd probably reduce it if it closed weak, but I wouldn't get rid of some shares until like maybe sell some if it breaks the 21 tomorrow, and then I'd hold the rest till the next morning, and if it doesn't catch, I'd cash out. But I've got a big gain in here, and I'd like to hold Melly because I think Melly could be special. Microsoft, still holding Microsoft, got a nice gain. I'm a seller if it breaks the 21 decisively. Netflix, I finally got rewarded for being patient. I've been in Netflix for months. I've been in and out of it really since made good money here, got shaken out, rebought, got shaken out, and now I rebought it off the 50, so today was an up day. And I'm a seller of Netflix below the 50-day moving average now. ServiceNow, I'm a seller below the 20, and this is one that I would buy shares of tomorrow if it has an up day. Wouldn't buy big because I've already got most of my position, but I would add on to my current position. PayPal, still in this. I don't really want to touch it unless it gets below the 20. I wouldn't buy it here. This isn't my setup yet. Regeneron, I'm a seller if it gets below the 21, but other than that, I'm just holding this and letting it go. I'm in Tandem. Tandem is one that I'm a seller if it undercuts $80. I'm going to probably sell half the position, and then the other half I'm going to hold into the 50. And then if it breaks the 50, I'm out and I'm done with this stock. And then if it's up again tomorrow, I might add a few shares to my position. Still in Tesla. I'm a seller at about 900. And then Vertex. I'm in Vertex. This is one I'm definitely going to buy tomorrow if it's green. I'm going to buy more shares. My position's at, I think, 272 and some change, so I'm slightly down on this now, but it got a good bounce today, higher volume, off the 50 again. I'm a seller now at around 265, and I'm buying more of it if it's green tomorrow. And then lastly, I'm still in Zen, and I'm a seller below the 21, and I've already kind of taken my position, so I wouldn't touch this thing again. So what did I do today? I actually bought some shares of Zen when it went through the open, so I made this position a little bit bigger. I added on to my Netflix position. I had a half position that was bought somewhere around like 416, and then today at like 425, I bought the other half. So I've got a full position in Netflix now, and then I bought AMD today and I started a position here. The other thing I did is I went ahead and cut out on Zigzy. Sold Zigzy at like $20.02. This thing fell apart fast. I probably should have sold it quicker, but if you go to the intraday chart, this thing just crapped right out of the open, just boom, boom, boom. And I remember it fell apart and then it caught, so I thought I was good, and then I started selling it once it just fell apart here. And of course, sell it at about $20. But that for me was about a 1% gain. So I did let what at one point was a 20% gain turn into a 1% gain, which isn't something I'm happy about, but that's kind of my trading style. I don't trade intraday, I trade day to day. And so that's going to happen to me sometime when I play these more volatile issues. I had a small position in here. It wasn't a huge position, so that swing wasn't too crazy on my total equity. But, this is kind of the downside to my type of trading is sometimes, fast-moving stocks like this, I'll give back more than I should. And I probably should have cut out of half the position yesterday with that shooting star candle and then had the other half sell off on me today. And that's probably the way I should have played it in hindsight, but I'm still getting better. There's lots of room for improvement. I would be very wealthy if I made no mistakes. And I'm not very wealthy yet. Going into tomorrow, I mentioned several of my own stocks that I'm willing to buy if they're up. And then here's just a few plays I like. I like Take Two. If Take Two is green tomorrow, I could see myself starting a position in here. I love a lot of things about the chart and the company. I still like Chegg. I'm waiting on Chegg to get above the T line. But Chegg's got a great growth story, great earnings, great sales. The chart needs to start entering a uptrend because it's currently in a short-term downtrend, long-term uptrend, short-term downtrend. And I don't buy stocks while they're falling. I wait for them to turn the corner before I start putting my money to work. I like Cirrus Logic. That's a really high volume Harami right off the 200-day moving average through the 50. If that's green tomorrow, I think that's a buy. And this is a cup with handle. This looks like an early entry into Cirrus Logic and makes sense. If it gaps up tomorrow, I love it. So that's one I like for tomorrow. This TAC, I don't know what they do. I know they have triple-digit earnings or sales maybe. I'd have to look back in MarketSmith, but it just poked above the T line. You can see this downtrend line I've drawn, which is pretty long-term, but this stock's flirting with entering an uptrend. It gapped up, never was able to fill that gap right there. And I think this is a buy if it's green tomorrow. I don't think I will take this trade, but I think it is a good trade. And GSX, I know there's like a short seller story about this company, but this chart is bullish. This is a double bottom that's formed. It's making a handle. Volume's drying up in the handle. I really like the company. I like everything about this except for that the short seller story. And then I don't like that it's a Chinese company, and there's all that news about how we might delist Chinese companies, and so there's risk with this stock. But it's one that I could see myself starting like a 1/10 position in. Just buy something small. I think this could be a real winner. I think it could shoot up. I think it's got the potential to double or more, really, if the chart resolves to the upside. So I'm watching this thing. I don't know if I'll go for it. And if I do go for it, I would buy very small. So I won't make a significant amount of money if I get in this stock. But this to me screams bullish. The technicals are bullish. The fundamentals, I see reason to worry because of the short seller story and the fact it's a Chinese company. But I love this chart. And I do a lot of chart work, and I love the chart. And lastly, I'm going to keep bringing this stock up because my gut tells me it's going to work. But it's too early. But Luminex is still working on what could be a cup. That could be a shakeout. This could be the low of a cup. And if we get above the T line, I could see myself starting a small position. I wouldn't buy big. I'd do like 1/5 would be the biggest I'd buy right here because there's a lot of work to get back up to that other high. So I'd want to see it shoot up, be very volatile, high or low, and then I'd maybe buy another 1/5, and then it goes, and then I'd wait for it to high or low again, and then I'd buy another 1/5, and then I'd have a position in this stock as it breaks out to new highs, and my average buy would be somewhere around like 35, 50, 36. So that'd be the way I'd play this chart in the long term, because my time frame is by the month is the time frame I try to trade. So I like the idea of starting to dabble in this thing because you got an obvious spot to sell against. $29 is where you'd sell against, and then if it gets above these short-term moving averages, it's going to at least probably pop up to the 50 again. And then if it catches the 50, it's probably going to pop up to 34 and test that area. So there's a lot of short-term upside to give the potential of making a small gain / getting a monster gain if it makes a base. Yeah, that's what I see. That's what I like. Today was a really encouraging day for the market. FFTY kind of shows that growth was sideways, but within FFTY there was a lot of strength because FFTY had some things like Zigzag holding it down, but FFTY had a lot of strength, which means growth stocks were taking off. You look at Apple. Apple was up huge compared to the transports, which is what weighed everything down today. Transports were off 2%. And that's what needs to happen for this market to continue to go higher. Leaders need to go up and start making new highs because the last week or so, leaders have been sluggish and laggard stocks have been shooting up off the lows, like garbage like American Airlines have been having huge up days. So it was a really nice thing to see selling in these garbage stocks and then buying in quality stocks like Amazon. So that being said, everything's bullish until it's not. Fed talks tomorrow, so who knows what he says. The market could get spooked. The market could do nothing. The market could go way higher. I'm not in the business of predicting. I'm in the business of interpreting. And as of right now, if this is the dashboard of a car, there are no warning lights. The gas tank is full, and the gas pedal should be pressed down. Like this is a time to try to make money on the long side until it's not. So hopefully this is helpful. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. This is an educational video. I put out content that I think I would have liked to bump into when I started trading. Hopefully there's something you can learn here. Maybe, give you an idea for at least how I trade. And let's crush it tomorrow. Good luck, guys. Let's make some money.